Hello and welcome to the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Michael and Laurent. It is Thursday, August 11th. I've had lots of interviews. We are live. In this episode, we preview Premier League Matchweek 2. It's a battle of Lampard versus Gerrard and an early battle for London. Mike, how are you feeling? We're driving and flying without a net.
Oh, it's exciting. It's like mainline cocaine. I'm excited for the bridge. I'm not afraid. I'm not worried about them at all. We'll get into it in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's an okay schedule. We're just looking at it now. Some transfer news we'll go over in a little bit. Real Madrid beat the shit out of Frankfurt in the Super Cup. That's not surprising. But first, Laurent, how many goals are you going to put up on Bournemouth this weekend?
The under over City are laying 2.5.
Yeah. I haven't looked at any of the bets yet.
And I believe we were looking at the Bet USA thing where we have our links. If you want to start learning how to bet, use the links on squeakybumtimepodcast.com. We get an affiliate link there. So it's in our podcast player. So you can have a click there, have a link there. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple stuff. But yeah, they're laying 2.5 goals. And I believe, and this isn't true, but on the preview video I was watching, they mentioned that Bournemouth was plus 3,000 underdog. I don't think that's the highest, but it's close. And I don't think they deserve that disrespect. Like, I see. Okay, plus 1,500, fine. Plus 3,000? Jesus Christ.
Plus 3,400 on my book. Yeah.
I'm like, come on, that's a lot. Not that bad.
For context, the next highest this week is Leicester against Arsenal at plus 540. So that's almost seven times.
I mean, Leicester famously were plus 5,000 to win the league, or was it plus 50?
They certainly were.
It was plus 50,000.
No, it was plus 5.
Yeah, that's not that. You're telling me that this game, if Bournemouth won, would be almost as big as Leicester winning the league? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I actually am saying that. I am.
Oh, you are saying that.
I am saying
You're
that.
saying
yes.
that if Bournemouth were to beat, but the thing is like weird Crystal Palace teams with Andros Townsend have beat City in weird games.
Home.
Yeah, at home.
Man City's at home.
No, and Palace beat City at home.
Oh, right, yeah.
Or they drew. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Like, you can lose games. It happens. I mean, I don't think I expect it to happen or whatever.
The way that the odds work say, if you were to bet on this game 33, 34 times, right? Would you break even? Yeah. No. You just wouldn't.
You know what? I'm putting 10 Shinolas on Bournemouth just to be an asshole.
Against your own club. I love it.
Yes, just because it's worth – it'll make the year. Because I can fuck around all year.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Oh, God. If that happened and they won, I would feel more than terrible, more than I should feel as a human being. Because it would mean that there's something – completely and totally wrong with Manchester City.
So there's so many philosophies. Let's go into that a little bit. There's so many philosophies about betting for or against your own team. Most of the philosophies are don't do it, right? Because
it's morally wrong. You're tempting fate.
Well, it's not even that. Your judgment is skewed, right? It just organically is. I just said that I don't feel fear for Stamford Bridge, a place we've won once in like 400 years. So So right there, right? But there's thoughts into I've heard people who intentionally bet against their own favorite team so that they feel like they've won either way. Like the team wins and you lose money, or they lose. Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous.
I don't subscribe to that at all.
Yeah, no, you go all or nothing. But although you are currently, you just said you are subscribing to that. So.
Well, because I like the idea. I like the idea of winning on a plus 3,000. Not because of my team, not because of anything. Just because the long shot is so fun.
What are you going to put $10 on it? Can you just send me $10 and I'll light it on fire on the show next week?
It's not really $10 because I've never taken my money out of Bet USA, and it's all. I'm still just up. I only put 100 ever in, and I'm at plus 400. So I'm still just fucking around.
Oh, okay.
I never lost any money.
Well, take the 100 back out, and then you're really playing with house money. There you go. That's
because I won those crazy, ridiculous long shots. I don't remember what it was, but I won some ridiculous.
Yeah, there was a couple of them last year.
Parlay that I just like.
Yeah.
I basically put my hand in a fire, and I was like, "Hey, look! I didn't get burned. Amazing."
But yeah, we've got.
Can I go through the schedule?
Please do.
I'll just read it out, and then we can pop around. Yeah. So the early game Saturday is Villa versus Everton. It's very early. You learn about West Coast games. I doubt I'll be up for it, but it's cool and fun. Then we have the Brendan Bowl of Arsenal versus Leicester. I have something for Rodgers. These are all the noon, the 3 p.m. kickoff, the traditional football time. We have a lot. So Goal Zone will be great on Saturday if you have Peacock.
6-5.
Man City, Bournemouth, City at home. Southampton, Leeds. Usually a fun, weird game. I'm not sure how I feel about that one. Then Wolves, Fulham, and then, a really good one of Brighton versus Newcastle. This will be a test for where Newcastle is. Brighton are at home. And then the final game on Saturday is Brentford, Man United. I would bet the fucking house on Brentford because I think United are in crisis. And then on Sunday, we get our first view of Nottingham Forest at the City Ground since 1999. It's Forest versus West Ham. This game could have happened in 1969, and it would be violent. So we're excited for Forest. And then you have another traditional game of violence of the Chelsea Headhunters versus Tottenham at the Bridge, famous for battles, for blood, for blues versus whites. A quality game. If it was 1985, there'd be a movie coming out on ITV about
2016.
No, but I mean fan violence. And then we have Liverpool taking on Chelsea on the first Monday Night Football game of the season at Anfield against Palace. Correct. Yeah. I wish it was at Selhurst, but can't have Selhurst Park on a Monday night all the time. Although they did try at the end of last season. I think we can start at the first game. I mean, I know we're going to go into your game, but I do want to give an important historical connection to Aston Villa versus Everton. This is Lampard versus Gerrard, two teammates who famously, through no fault of their own, kind of created a debate for England in their golden generation. These two could never play together. They would try to play them together. And in all that time, these are two generational players, now managers. They only created one assist to each other. So that was weird. So I wasn't really following England that much, but they were two names that were always trying to shoehorn them in. Is like Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes, Beckham. How do we play that midfield when they all want to do the same thing? And it never quite worked. And somehow Gareth Barry got caps for England. But I think this is a referendum. I think Everton coming off a loss, Aston Villa coming off a bad loss, are at home. Gerrard needs this game. I think if he loses this, the narrative shifts to, is Gerrard going to fail? Sure.
I mean, first of all, I don't think that they will. I think Everton is unspeakably bad. But it's an interesting run.
They also haven't won a game on the road since the
last
Olympics. The cotton gin was created and the slave trades landed in Liverpool in 1624.
I like yours better. The current narrative is that Lampard is
the better manager. Oh, sorry. That Lampard is the betting man.
He's a lame duck.
He's a lame duck.
Everton's waiting around for enough of an excuse to fire him. They stayed up last year. They're like, all right, we'll give you till Thanksgiving, if that, right? Actually, no, they're playing 2 games a week. They'll give them till maybe October. But yeah, you're right. Like, if they pull out a win here, it says two things. It's like, okay, maybe Everton aren't quite as bad as we thought, but Villa is way worse than we thought they were. And that's going to reflect poorly on Gerrard.
If I'm Villa, I'm trying to – they didn't play Watkins. If I'm Villa, I'm like, take your pick. Here's $50 million. Give us Ings or Watkins. Who do you want to give up? And take him. Because if Watkins isn't going to play, that is a striker who, for Everton, basically replaces Richarlison. Sure. He's not as good a finisher, but I think he's a better footballer. And the fact that Watkins is just sitting there and Gerrard doesn't know that he's his best striker is beyond me. Like,
it's that creates a vote of no confidence from,
it's a growing, what are you doing?
Well, all right, look, the first match, and he's got a lot of things there. Like, he is splitting the locker room with the whole Mings thing too.
Yeah, he's trying to assert his dominance. It's a dick swing.
Yeah, but what the fuck did Mings do that was so evil, right?
He's shit.
Okay.
He must be doing something wrong.
You just remember him from that controversial bullshit against Man City, 2 years ago, where he shouldn't have been called for a back pass, and you guys were like, okay, free goal. But no, I think he took the captaincy away from him, right?
Yes.
And who in the world is going to respond like, yeah, no problem, right? He, all things considered, took that punch in stride. And so Gerrard swung his dick around. He did. He was like, okay, this is my team. And Mings was like, fuck, all right, fine. But he didn't sit there and pout about it. But for Gerrard to throw another punch felt a little gratuitous and to leave him out of the team last week. So we'll see. They
looked like they were missing a leader. Like, as much as you may not like Mings, you don't like Mings. He does stuff though.
Right.
He marshals the team. He's always talking. He's actually demonstratively looking like a leader. Maybe Gerrard finds that to be bullshit. And he's like, you're actually make a mistake every other game. So shut up. But I don't know. It's weird.
Well, you gave up 2 to Bournemouth. So
we know that Gerrard has the better track record of, he played well he did 3 years with Rangers. He did do the coaching at Liverpool. Gerrard has just been like a mediocre coach who just got 2 jobs, and one of them was Chelsea out of the blue. Lampard. Excuse me. Anyway, that's a lot on that game. So we move on to. Do you want to go to your game, or do you want to talk Arsenal, Leicester? Where do you want to go?
No, let's go to the main event. Okay. I'm excited. I think that Spurs are coming in flying. And listen, I mean, Chelsea got the win against. I can't stress enough, an abysmal Everton team.
Awful.
And they just seemed disinterested. Will they show up like that at home against Tottenham? Of course not. There's nothing a Chelsea player likes more than beating Tottenham. I feel like that, right? Like genuinely, they don't even like winning trophies as much as they like telling Tottenham they're better than them, right? So will they show up in that same vein they did last week? Absolutely not. With that said, I just don't feel like they have the horses, especially in a 5-sub environment, to run with Spurs. And the other thing is they're going, the Robbies actually did a pretty good breakdown of this. They're not going to do well against Spurs counterattack. We can play with you, or we can sit back and say, oh, okay, Kane's going to drop in, and then Son's going to just basically go on a go route. He's going to hit him. We've said this a million times, but now nobody has had an answer yet for Kulusevski, who is going to pull. The goal for Spurs will be for Kulusevski to pull Koulibaly, say that 3 times fast, basically out of his center back position. And if he is capable of doing that, it could get ugly. I mean, like, embarrassingly bad for Chelsea.
And the other thing is, all the creativity for Chelsea comes from their wingbacks, and Tottenham play with wingbacks who are going to push them forward. If I see Royale again, even though he was good, I'm going to be upset. I love Sessegnon. So I have a bunch of match facts. History is against you on this. Chelsea have scored at least 2 goals in 13 of their last 15 home matches against Tottenham in all competitions. Chelsea have held a clean sheet in 6 of the last 7 against Tottenham. Ooh.
Tottenham I told you they love nothing more than to beat Spurs at home.
Yeah. Tottenham have been winning at both halftime and full time in their last 4 Premier League matches. So Tottenham holding on to games, pulling things together.
Despite giving up a goal early to Southampton. I think it just the way that the teams currently line up. And if we were playing this game 6 weeks from now, I would be singing a different tune. I just don't like what Chelsea did this summer, with the exception of Koulibaly. I don't think they added any actual value to their best 11.
No.
Again, aside from Koulibaly. But I think that Spurs did. The question you brought up is a good one. Who plays at right back for Spurs? Emerson's not. They have almost 2.5 bad answers right now. Emerson, Matt Doherty, who we're pretty sure is totally fit, and Jed Spence. You don't want to throw him into Stamford Bridge.
No, I don't get the sense that Conte liked Spence. He literally said this was a team buy, basically saying I did not ask for him.
He didn't explicitly. So you gotta have to read through the lines a little bit. If he didn't want him, right? There's 3 categories. I want him. I don't want him, and I want nothing to do with him. Right. So he was firmly in that middle category. So,
yes.
But yeah, I don't see him being that guy. I think it's Royal. I think it's going to be Royal on the right.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of trust. There's a little bit of stuff going on there.
The question I have is, would you invert? Would you put Sessegnon there, or would you put Perisic there? I don't know.
That. We're gonna see how it goes. Right now, what we do know is Spurs are on the ascendancy, as we like to say in football. Chelsea are still sputtering. We're not sure what's happening. We're not sure where the goals are going to come from. We know that Tuchel is a shitheel and will try and break up the game. The question is, to me, is like, is he teetering, or has he held the team together? Right. So those
Right.
are the other two narratives. Is Tuchel rallying the team around him, or is it near a breakdown? Like, this game and this result is kind of a narrative shifter. If they get the doors blown off them, then it says Chelsea's are in trouble. Tuchel's not going to finish the season, right? I mean, that's a crazy narrative. If he holds on and gets a win, then it's we rallied around our coach, and we can kick on from here. So I think those are the two paths for Chelsea. But the stories are, this is our male soap opera, and this is where we are, right? Like,
Yeah.
we go into City versus Bournemouth. Not a game that should matter at all, aside from the fact that Bournemouth is plus 3,000, which makes me want to pick them. But we have this Haaland thing where, oh my God, City took over the world. City made another level of play. They did double inverted fullbacks where we had like flooded the midfield and made West Ham look like we think Bournemouth is going to look.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's always really hard with City to have narrative. The nice thing is now we have Haaland, who gives us some narrative. There's a little bit of narrative. There was a press conference that Raheem Sterling gave that he basically said what I think everyone knew. He was like, I left Manchester City because I wanted to play. And if your career is going down, you have what you have on your hands is a dead shark. You have to keep moving as a player. And he felt like he was slowing down and being less and less important, and he wanted to be important again. I don't think it'll be a thing, but it'll be something that gets
it'll be in England. They have nothing else to talk about. It'll be a thing. And you know why? Because Raheem's black, and it's not because I dislike him. It's because that's how English media treats him, and they have forever. And the thing on him, and speaking of forever, he's 27, right?
Yeah, but he's got it's not the age, it's the miles.
No, it's the miles. Those legs are 42. But that's the thing. You've seen him for so long at Liverpool, at City. It feels like he's as old as dirt, but he's only 27. So when you were saying that I felt my career winding down, he's technically in the prime of his career. Right. So he moved to a place where he feels he's going to play as much as humanly possible.
The question is he Rooney 27, or is he who's the other guy who played forever and was at
you look like Rooney 27.
I do. I'm aging badly. I can't remember the other winger from Man United who's in trouble for beating his wife. God damn it. Who played for 25 years.
Greenwood?
No. That's the young guy. The old guy who's there forever.
No.
My brain is melted.
Okay.
We know who he is. He's literally the all-time leader in appearances for the Premier League. Anyway, I just can't remember his name because I'm old. Anyway.
Wayne Rooney.
The other one. So anyway, is he going to play forever? But in order to play forever, he has to start playing less and less and less games. That's the way to keep him going. But City should be fine. Arsenal, Leicester. I have some thoughts on Leicester. They haven't made any moves. Brendan Rodgers is kind of at the end of his project piece, and I have a place for him to go. You ready for my takes?
Go for it.
Brendan Rodgers takes the Aston Villa job from Gerrard.
No, that would be at this point.
Not now.
No.
Next.
I mean, at this point, meaning the next 3 to 4 months, right?
Like, no. I mean,
like
the job to take after this job, whenever the Leicester job ends and whenever Aston Villa ends, the best team with the least experienced manager that has the most talent that Rodgers could come in and hit them running is Villa.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the reason I say 3 to 4 months, I feel like, and we said this in the when we talked about Villa, Gerrard and Rodgers sort of feel in the similar spot right now. Rodgers being far longer in the tooth than Gerrard, of course, but at Leicester.
But Leicester has 2 top 5 finishes where they missed out on top 4. Like,
that doesn't matter though.
Gerrard would kill for even one Leicester season.
I understand, but you know that doesn't matter right now, right? Like,
it's all perception versus reality.
It's perception versus reality, but like they were garbage last year. Relative to
finishing in the top 4. Yes.
You know what? They're a victim of their own success to an extent.
Yes.
But they also took a massive step back last year. It's not like they fell to 7th, right? So
they fell to 8th.
8th. I thought they were like 11th. Maybe it's because
No.
I had them in my
No,
preseason. I have them.
That's
at
the thing.
11th.
They finished 8th because late in the season, when you were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe what a disaster," they went on a run.
That's
Because remember,
right. That's
Madison
right.
went nuts.
That's right. They were on the back half of
Yes.
the table for a while
Yes.
though. But okay,
The
fair enough.
problem is they've got to get through this window with their team intact. If
Well,
can
they
keep-
already lost Harvey Barnes.
No, but what do you mean?
He's hurt.
Oh, that's different. I'm saying if they can get through this piece without losing Madison to Newcastle,
Or
like if they
Fofana.
don't get rated, right?
Fofana too.
If they can keep Fofana, I don't get the sense that he's gonna move.
Well, okay, so and doubling back to Chelsea for a second, right? And I was talking to a friend of mine who's a Chelsea fan, and he was, as the permutations of center back rumors continue to go on, the Delicts, the Koundés, the whatever.
Weeks they're gonna have 5 games with the window open. That's nuts.
I know, but the consensus was okay. They're gonna massively overpay for somebody, and it seems I think their offer was 85 for
you got to take
Fofana. You have to take that. Well, unless PSG comes in with more.
Yeah.
But are we missing something about Wesley Fofana? I mean,
he was good. He broke his leg and he came back. I would sell him, but the problem is like you just had a terrible season where you couldn't defend set pieces. I listened to a whole podcast about it. The issue with Leicester is they haven't moved anyone on. They have this big squad. They still have Vesterberg and their last window, Samari was a disaster.
Well, Vestergaard was a buy last year, and we thought
it
was a
buy.
good
We
one.
liked him.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Well, because he's enormous, and we're like, you won't suck at set pieces now.
But they did. They were worse.
They were worse.
They gave up 12 goals on set pieces. 12. That's like a quarter of your goals are against set pieces.
Yeah.
Teams give up 50, 45 goals a year. Anyway, that's a lot. Let's move to the next game.
Let's talk
I still
Brentford
think that
United.
What's that?
Let's talk Brentford United.
Brentford United. This game, night under the lights, night game, Brentford community. United come in hobbled, come in embarrassed against. This is if you're United, you're like, not this fucking team.
Oh, goddamn.
Fuck.
Now?
Right? You just played the analytic, well-coached, punching above their weight team, came to your house in Brentford, in Brighton, and punched you in the mouth. Now the partner, sister city, Brentford, comes in at home, place banging, Hey Jude blaring, and Ivan Toney is going to go beat the shit out of your 5'0" center back. This is not what you want.
The only thing I'll say is that United may have figured it out in the back half of the game when, as you alluded to on the last show, Eriksen.
You got to play Eriksen
deeper, right?
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, who doesn't have Christian Eriksen now, right? So I'm still a little skittish on Brentford. I love what they did today, though. They went out yesterday they signed Damsgaard. All right, our darling from the Euros, who, when you remember, when Eriksen collapsed and Denmark sort of
he saved the team.
Him and Højbjerg, right? Damsgaard came in and he was the knight in shining armor. So he was the literal Christian Eriksen replacement.
Yeah.
And he kind of helped that team kick on into that run. So it was interesting that he didn't move last year. He didn't have an awesome year.
He was hurt, and then they found out that he had arthritis in his knee. Not good.
No.
So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, I just think Ivan Toney, Mbueno, De Silva, the team is really, really good.
And Wissa is not somebody to sleep on either.
And I don't know what's going to – I mean, and United still have the Cristiano thing just sitting over them. Should they win? Are they better? Yes. Did we see some good things from Rashford? Like he actually was active and actually ran and actually did things and took bad shots, but at least he was part of the game.
Right. Getting a feel for it.
Yeah, I do think that United have to try and become early Klopp 13-14 Liverpool style, where you're just like, we're not defending. We're going to go swashbuckle we're going to take Jadon Sancho, get him the ball, and we're going to run at you all the time. And we're not going to stop. And this is what we're doing. Because
the reason why I say that is
if you're trying to be like, oh, we need to fix our defense, we need 2 holding midfielders because our defense isn't good enough. Well, you don't have them. So do the other thing.
Yeah, I just don't think they have that either.
Sure they do. They have in Eriksen a Gerrard type who can play deep and then put Fred next to him to be like, just shut everything near him down and never play McTominay ever again.
Ever again.
Right? So they
yeah,
do like
a
4-1-4-1 kind of thing.
But you're talking about us. I forget who was on that team. Was it the
wingers are it was Raheem, Sturridge, Suarez,
right,
and Coutinho.
You have a Coutinho.
They don't have that.
You have a Coutinho, right?
Yes,
you have Eriksen. You don't have. I mean, Rashford, yeah, okay. Sancho, okay. Like, Elanga's gonna get minutes, right?
What they don't have is a Suarez, right?
No, they don't have a fucking Suarez.
Well, they have Suarez now because they have Cristiano Ronaldo.
Right. Yeah.
Well, maybe they're just play. Maybe you just do it. You just sort of go, okay, this is like you get your freaking soup here, and you're like, all right, I have onions. I'm not gonna try and make a fucking amazing French onion soup. I don't have any cheese. I'm just gonna fucking boil these onions, put some carrots in it, and what I mean by that is just make the team around Cristiano. Just do it.
This is
right?
a
just
cooking
get all the young
now.
guys, get all of them to run, play Eriksen and Fernandez, and be like, okay, Ronnie, you want it to be your team? We're doing it.
Yeah.
Because what else are you gonna do? You're not gonna win anyway.
Wow. I mean, you could have some big old brass balls and say, okay, go sit over there with the youth team.
Fuck off.
You could do that.
You could do that, but I don't think they have anyone good enough, unfortunately.
No. But it almost won't matter, right? Because you could, if Ten Hag, I think one of the problems that United had over the last 18 months or so is that nobody had the room, right?
Yes,
and if Ten Hag goes, hey, I just kicked out one of the best players of all fucking time because he's not singing my song the way I want him to, you are going to, or you can follow his ass right back to the fucking youth squad. And that will scare the shit out of at least half the room. And I think that will create some togetherness because there was this aura around him when he got there. And now he's basically fit for an old folks home, right? Not that he's not tremendous and still one of the greatest talents ever. He's so about him and not about the ethos of the club and of the squad. So if you see that and you're a Rashford, right? Or you're even a Fred or a McTominay or Maguire, right? And I'm not saying any of these players are anywhere close to his level, but they are equally as important to that team's success as Ronaldo. So if you kick him out and you go, U5, U6, whatever, right? You're my nucleus. Go get the rest of this fucking room together. Yeah, I don't know. Which is where
they were before they signed Cristiano. Except they did have Greenwood, and I think the Greenwood thing hurt them a lot because that was the alternative.
But then they went and signed Sancho. So, like, I mean,
by the way,
that shouldn't be.
Brentford is plus 180 on the money line. Wow. Plus 280, excuse me.
Plus 280 is pretty handsome.
Yeah, they're getting a goal at minus 120.
Yeah, sorry, Best Bets fans, we didn't do enough time on that this week, so we're doing it live.
No. That would be the one that I slam. I'm taking Brentford.
I get that.
Sure.
I get that.
And then
I like okay. Yeah.
Everton
and United's even money. Oof, I hate that.
I mean, there's props too. Do you wanna go Ivan?
I would go. I don't even have Spurs because I only have the Saturday games on what I'm looking at. But I would go in the over on Spurs because they're going to concede and they're going to win.
Ivan Toney to score is plus 170.
Oh, stop making me think about that. That's how I lose money. I love him. The sneaky interesting game that the 10 o'clock game, or I should say the 3 o'clock game that I'm going to be watching is actually not Arsenal Leicester City because I think that could be a laugher. I think that could be bad. The sneaky best game of the week for me might be Brighton Newcastle.
That's a good one.
Brighton showed me a lot more than I thought last week. We're back in on the Brighton bandwagon. I apologize
for me, the Brighton bandwagon is now tricked out. It has a souped-up engine. It's got the giant wheels in the back. You rev it up, and the front kicks up. It's a funny car at this point.
Yeah. Well, okay, but I can't get over the fact that they did lose Basuma. They did lose Cucurella. And
that's because Caicedo is fucking awesome already.
Yeah.
And
well, look,
and
it's
if you
my
can
fault
lose,
for
and if you can lose a player, you can lose a fullback. Like they're losable.
Yes, but Basuma felt like a huge loss, and maybe I'm wrong.
Well, they were playing. They had Caicedo. They had Awepu is the other guy who's around. The thing that was crazy about that game was Danny Welbeck just like turned back the clock. Danny Welbeck, like, who is this person? You can't do this. What he was taking balls out of the sky. They were just hoofing balls to him. He was like, bring it down. Now, can he finish? No, he never.
Now this is going to be Newcastle's first.
Hold on. I'm thinking of taking the Bees. Brentford money line, easy money. You are correct.
I think with Newcastle, this is going to be their first real, test. No disrespect to Nottingham Forest, but
a lot of bonds there. Newcastle did poach the entire backroom staff of Brentford, both their technical director and their CEO of Brighton. I'm going to keep getting them wrong until I don't.
Oh, well, I do the same thing.
So yeah, they did poach the players, so that's there. A little funky there. So there's a lot of love there. And then Dan Burn coming back. So there's some stuff there. But this is like a low-key, secret big game, I think, for Brighton. I think for Brighton, if they fancy themselves a top half team, if Newcastle fancy themselves to be in a top 7, this is a game that they've got to be like, we're gonna go get this, maybe think of it as a campaign and be like, you know what? Let's not lose this game. This is a draw.
Well, okay, yeah. I was gonna say I don't know that the result matters that much. This is a measuring stick game for how you play, right? And so I expect Newcastle to carry the play, but I don't know. I think this is one of those where you could, like I said, I think it's going to be one of the better games to watch. But
we'll see. I think, we know Brighton is not a fantastic team. It's not the greatest team ever. They do go up and down. Can they manage we won at Old Trafford. Can we manage this? They're not good at home. The crowd in the Amex is because Brighton is not. It's not a hotbed of football. I mean, no disrespect to their hardcore fans, but they don't sell out that stadium. So it could be a little bit of a downturn, a little bit of a how do they do at home thing. I like this game. That's a game, like you said, it's a game to watch and be involved in and see where things are going. We should probably touch Nottingham Forest, West Ham. Watch the first 3 minutes of this one just to get a sense of the City ground. Watch the sort of
yes, because they're
just to get this is like since 1999. Forest is in the Premier League. They've got a great fucking stadium name, the City Ground. What does that even mean? I love it.
Well, all right. So think of it like this, right? Because we get this about once a year, sometimes, right? If we're lucky, and we got it last year with the very first game of the year.
Yeah, the
Brentford at home against Arsenal. I mean, winning that game, I almost got because I obviously dislike Arsenal, but like watching
it was huge.
Watching the old guy who was there the last time in like 1945, just cry his eyes out. I was like, oh my God, I never want to love anything as much as he loves Brentford.
I never want to love anything more than Brentford right now. Yeah, I mean, I do think West Ham are a tough. I guess here's the question I have for West Ham was, did City make them look that terrible?
I think so.
Or are they still okay? These are the games for West Ham to kick on. They've got to beat Forest, right?
Yeah.
Especially Forest right now, who are brought in 11, 12 guys. The whole team's being remade. They don't have any parachute payments. Half the team was team players that were on loan. So Forest are going to be the team that we're going to say, you please mark this down. We're going to expect them to be relegated up until they get out of the relegation zone. And by that, I mean, they're going to have a hard time. They're going to be in the bottom. If they can stick with it and sort of have a long-term view and go, okay, well, we're going to get out of this.
Right.
They'll be in the bottom 3 because they have to integrate and sort of make this team. Like, this team is like, thank God for this fucking World Cup. We're going to come out of the World Cup. We might only have 2 wins. We might only have 2 wins after the 16 games and then kick on in the second half.
Right. They're not going to have any players in the World Cup, and that's massive. Right, you basically, your training camp is the World Cup.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting. Let's move away from the games for a second. We have a question from a friend of ours from our Facebook group, which if you are not a part of it, please join it. It's the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast Facebook group. Bart, who's in our fantasy league as well, seems to be going abroad soon, which sounds great. Hope you have a great trip, Bart. He wanted to know if you recommend going to England with British pounds or getting it exchanged there. What are your thoughts on that?
Use your fucking credit card and let the bank do the exchange.
That's exactly what I did. Yeah. What if he's going? Well, what if he's going to a strip club or something like that? You can't.
Don't go to a strip club in England.
No. You can go to a farm and see the same thing.
You're gonna be in for some. Ugh. I mean,
so the answer part is let Visa figure it out for you.
Yeah, and then instead just watch Fake Taxi.
Oh yes, yes, right. Big thing
and pretend.
Very
like
strange.
Even on Fake Taxi, they don't have any English women. It's all foreigners.
No, very strange.
The guy's English. Good for
taxi
him.
setups too. It's almost as if they created the taxi industry in England around pornography. Around pornography, right? So, but yeah, listen, that's a quick show. Laurent has
Newcastle. That's exciting.
Laurent, what?
One of our Facebook people are going to see Liverpool v Newcastle.
Oh,
there's actually a documentary that's come out. There's a lot more content on MSNBC's YouTube channel. They have a 15-minute documentary on Newcastle Liverpool 5-3, I believe, 1995, 96 or something like that. Considered the greatest game ever played, but of course it's not. It's just because it's Liverpool.
Of course.
So, right. And nobody died. Oh, thank God.
Oh, thank goodness.
Sorry. Injustice for the 96. Wait. 97. No. Now it's 98 because people are dying because it was so long ago. So now they're adding more people. That's not true. That's fucked up.
Yeah, no.
They did get crushed. They did cover it up.
Anything else you want to hit on?
Let's see. Do we have any other big ones that we want to touch?
No. Certainly not me.
We should probably talk about Liverpool Palace. Liverpool coming off a really bad result, to be fair, and just the less said about Wolves Fulham, the better. I don't really care about that game. We just looking for Mitrovic on that one.
Does Palace stand a chance at Anfield on Monday night after Liverpool, like you said, come off of a really bad result? They could put 10 up.
The thing is, if Liverpool lose this game, and I'm not being hyperbolic, they may have lost the league the way things have been going.
No, I'm not disagreeing.
You know what I mean?
With that. If they're what would that be? 5 points behind City with 2 games down.
I mean, it's not ridiculous to say.
No, and then they go to Old Trafford after that.
Well, that's by the way, playing Palace at home is harder than going to Old Trafford.
We'll see after this weekend. I don't know if I agree with
literally, Gary Neville has said this. This is like the most venerated captain of United, 10 trophies, the guy. He's the Charles Barkley of England without being fat and Southern. He said that United are the easiest team to play in the Premier League. And I thought about it, and I was like
right now or for
the last couple years.
Oh, sure.
And I thought about it, and I said, yeah, that's true. They are the easiest team to play.
I think relative to their status, right? Like if
relative to their status, right? Yeah. No, but you know what? Even playing is Brentford. Are they easier to play than Brentford?
No.
Yes.
No. Oh, sorry. Yes. I'm agreeing.
Much easier. Like I would rather if I had on a schedule, like I'm willing to pick.
They're not easier than Nottingham Forest. They're not easier than Everton. But again, relative to,
but they're not going to kick you.
If you look at the top half of the table from last year, without question, I would play United.
Team to play. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I mean, it feels hard. It's so hyperbolic. It feels like they've never beat anyone, but all their wins last year were because Cristiano did something ridiculous.
Yeah. And he got Ole fired, which again, thank you for that, Cristiano. Very much appreciate that. There's an alternate universe where
Ole in the job because if he had been fired earlier, they would have hired Conte.
That's what I'm saying. If there's an alternate universe where Spurs don't lose that game, and Conte doesn't get hired by Spurs, he gets hired by United, and Spurs are relegated right now. So
who would you have hired?
Know. Oh, I don't have a fucking clue. It would have been. It had to have been Pochettino. It had to have been because he. Well, I mean,
oh my God, I didn't even think of that. Pochettino's out there.
Yeah, he is. He is. Well, he wasn't out there yet when that game happened. So
No, but I'm saying
on an interim
the sort of
basis, it would have
Dijkhuis is now the power of Pochettino is floating out there.
been-
I didn't even think of that. Does
Yeah,
that mean if
I
Eddie
mean-
Howe has a problem, Pochettino takes the Newcastle job?
I could see him going to Newcastle. I could see him going to United eventually, just because they've flirted for like a
no,
decade
the Ten
now.
Hag, they can't.
No. I know. It's just like they've flirted for so long that they're always going to be somewhat linked. Is all I'm saying.
Right, right. He'll be the name that comes up for every team job, right? He'll be, he's going to Real, he's going to Bayern.
Could he be somebody to try and help save Everton? I don't want that for him, but could he get something out of Delhi there? Like,
I wouldn't take that job.
I wouldn't take that job either. But my point is, like, with DCL coming back, probably by the time this happens,
I seriously think Rodgers will leave Leicester this season, and that Leicester job is actually a better job.
Perfect. That would be perfect for him. You're right. Yep, that's the best fit.
And then the other one I think about, like I said, I do think that Villa, if I were a manager and I was looking from the outside, I would see that Villa job as be like, that's a good job. That's like, it's almost like Liverpool with under Rodgers, where you're just like, that's fucking Liverpool. I want that job.
I don't know. I mean, I understand why you say that, but I mean, and given the hindsight of the last 8 years, right? So Liverpool at that stage, you could argue is
where they were a little bit kind of, well, they had just finished in second within the last 2 years. So
right, that's what I mean. Like, Villa is not at that. I get it. It's a store brand version of that Liverpool side, but
that's the thing is the team is good.
Yeah, no, I know, and you're right. He could get a lot out of that.
Like a good man, like Brendan Rodgers would look at Villa and be like, "Yeah, I got this."
Sure, yeah.
Anyway, all right.
Well, you got anything else? It's a short show. You have a date.
I do. Do you have any other bets? Do you have anything you want to touch?
No, I got nothing.
I got two. I just want to call out the two that I like. I really, really love Brentford plus 280. I know I went against my beloved. I'm just going to bet against United all season, and I'll probably do fine. So I love that one. That's plus 280. I also really, this one's tough. The line for Everton at plus 380 is tasty and interesting. And then there's do I trust Arsenal Leicester at plus 550. These are away results. They're tough. I understand that, but those are good values.
No, that's not good value on Leicester. What I'm actually saying is I would go Arsenal -1 at. They're still giving -125, but I think they're going to blow the doors off of them, especially at home. I really do. And, all right, this is me saying nice things about Arsenal. Do you understand how hard that is for me? Okay, I think that they're flying right now. I think that they're going to beat the shit out of Leicester, and of course, lock in 2-1 Leicester win. But no, I mean,
I like my last one is I like Brighton Newcastle for the draw at 225 plus 225.
I like that a lot
because it's a good defensive team. They're going to be feeling each other out. Nobody wants to lose.
It's going to be like a boxing title fight for a few rounds there. Yeah.
And they both kind of can't finish. They're kind of weird.
You know, I was looking at Newcastle's side, and I just am with now 2 windows under their belt with the sport
didn't do
watching
that much.
FC. They really didn't do much at all.
No.
It's interesting.
But it's Gamarish and Botman. I think everyone is expecting a striker, but I think that they're going to see where they go with Callum Wilson when he gets hurt, which will happen. Then they have Chris Wood, which is meh. And then they have, they got my crazy friend, Mr. St. Maximin, who hasn't done much. And then, dude, they should go after Bowen, but that's another story.
Yeah.
All right, send me home.
All right, let's get out of here.
That was the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike Salerno and Laurent Cortines. We are the football wing of the Chop Sports Network, and we record on Tuesdays, Fridays, Thursdays, Mondays, wherever we want to. So be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're listening on Apple, please rate and review the show. It makes a difference to us and Frank.